Hey, how's it going, guys? It's a nice day out here. I'm just chilling in my car, just doing some thinking, and I don't know. I was actually kind of inspired by me just running down to the local gas station, pick up some stuff. Literally running there. Just in my regular clothes. Not something I normally do, honestly. Even though the store's right down the street, a lot of the times I would just kind of lazily take my car and drive over there. What's less than like a 4-minute walk. Uh, and, it just made me think like people, you know, maybe not everybody has this problem, but I definitely had this problem for a while where I was just not active enough, and it was really no wonder that I was just having a lot of issues with anxiety and just feeling like I can't sit still, and always having to be on the move, always thinking a lot, overthinking, and also having issues with like pain and inflammation, things like that. It just got me thinking today when I just ran over to the gas station that people really have to get more active, including myself, if we want to deal with a lot of these modern mental health issues, and also physical issues like chronic pain, inflammation that a lot of people are increasingly dealing with these days. Even at younger and younger ages. Um, I was thinking when I was younger, I was way more active. I would not only did I have gym classes in school, but I'd also play outside a lot. I'd ride my bike, which was I got a huge amount of you know exercise for my leg muscles and stuff doing that, because I'd be biking up hills and going on 10-mile bike rides with my friends just for fun. Like nowadays, I don't ever do that. um you know I I'm lucky if I really feel like I have enough time or energy to get out and just go for a walk for like an hour or a half hour. um I used to think that like you know that the physical activity that I would do like at work was enough. I used to work more physical jobs than I do now, where I'd be, picking up heavy things all day and moving them around, and uh, things like that require a lot more physical exertion. And in the in the field that I'm in now, there's just really not a lot of that. So the only the only physical activity I really get is just trying to stay on my feet and clean and do a lot of just things that keep me preoccupied more than they would give me a good exercise. So I just think that's important for a lot of people to consider these days. If you're dealing with anxiety, chronic pain, things like that, or even just having issues managing like other mental health problems like ADHD, which I know a lot of people, especially of our generation, seem to struggle with. The one thing you can just really do to almost guarantee that you'll end up in a slightly better place than you were before is just get up and get moving. um, you know Take walks, just do anything you can just to get outside. Even just being in the sunlight, I feel like does really help me a lot with anxiety, and just helps kind of calm me down. And I'm sure it does something on the cellular level, as far as vitamin D and shit like that. But you know um some people, I feel like they think that the key to life is having to do as little work, like physical work, as possible, and just having the option to just relax all the time. And I mean, relaxation is good, it's necessary, but like 90% of the time, it at least 90% of the time, I feel like we're not meant to really be relaxing. A relaxing is something you should do after you've done a lot of work, and like that's it. Like I don't even sit down and just watch TV anymore because I have a lot of things to do to keep me preoccupied at this point in my life. So, relaxing is the last thing I am like even capable of doing until really the end of the day, when I'm just so tired that you know that it just feels natural to be taking a break and resting, without feeling like I should be doing something right now. It feels more natural. What was I gonna say? Relaxing. Yeah, and there was a point when I was having a lot of problems with pain, and I would try to get into exercising, and then I would just be so sore afterward, and I'd feel like, oh, this, I feel even worse now. Like, how could I possibly keep this up and keep feeling this poorly, this sore all the time, and in even more pain than I'm normally dealing with. So it was hard to really establish an exercise routine, and it still is difficult for me to do. But the more I learn about, kind of how our modern lifestyle affects everything about how our muscles develop, posture, and all that. Not to mention, all the mental health aspects of it. But as far as just the physical stuff alone, like, the modern lifestyle really doesn't do us any favors. As far as like promoting activity, this just makes me think of the hamster that we have at our house. He sleeps a lot during the day, but at night he'll be running on his wheel for 8 hours straight. And I think hamsters run like an average of like 15 miles or something like that, 10 to 15 miles a day. And I almost think like, I'm really not that much different from this hamster, enclosed in a little cage. I'm in my house a lot of the time, and I'm not really getting that physical activity. If I had a treadmill in my house, I would be running 10 miles a day probably, because well, not that I would really have the time for that, but yeah, it just made me think of the comparison, and just got me on this idea of thinking like, we require physical activity, and we require, to be doing things that are sometimes even strenuous to do. Like, it shouldn't be your goal in life just to avoid all that. Humans, we're meant to work. We're meant to do hard things, not just mentally but also physically. And if you're not doing those things, like for me, it was almost like I was like losing my connection to reality or something. Like, the more force you exert on things, and the more strain you put yourself through in just existing, I feel like the more it like tethers you to reality somehow. And maybe not everybody might understand what I'm talking about, but I have had issues where my mental health issues were so complex and weird that I felt like I was not a part of my own body. Like, I guess some people might classify it as like depersonalization or something like that, but I don't know, for me it was just like this feeling that I was floating away or something, and it was just a very unnerving feeling that made me consider if there was something wrong with me or what. But I think every time I just go that extra mile and just try to get in some physical activity in the day, like, I feel that much better. And the more I do it, I can actually feel myself getting stronger and having less pain, and actually working on developing muscles that have really not gotten a lot of work over the past 10 years of my life or so. You know, ever since I kind of stopped doing all these, you know, activities I did when I was a kid, as I said, riding my bike a lot, and you know, I don't even get anywhere near that level of exercise anymore, and I feel like I just need to get back to it. And maybe if you're having the same problems as I have had in the past, or am still dealing with to some extent, maybe that's the answer for you as well, to just give it a second thought and really consider how much physical activity, how much exertion are you getting in your average day, um, and you know, which muscles of yours are potentially very weak because they're not getting enough exercise or focus, that are causing a lot of like muscle strain, tension, all those things that just give you a constant sensation of pain just all throughout your body. Um, yeah, just something to think about. This was not a scripted talk, obviously, just started recording, so sorry if I was a little scatterbrained, but hopefully you got something from this. And you know, I'm gonna keep at it, keep trying to be more active, and you know, not be afraid to get up and move around a lot. So anyway, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.